Dakshinamurti. Dakshinasya abhimuka yasya saha Dakshinamurti. One who faces the south is Dakshinamurti. He will do the Dakshinamurti. There's a fairly long one. Dhyana Shloka 6 and 10 regulars. It's good to learn these by heart because it improves our enunciation. Maunam Pyakhya Prakadita Para Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam Varsishtante Vasadrishiganaihi Avritam Brahmanishtai Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudram Anandarupam Swatma Ramam Mudita Valanam Dakshinamurti Mide Vatavitapi Samipe Bhumi Bhage Nishannam Sakala Munijanana Jnana Tatara Marat Tribhuvana Gurumesham Dakshinamurti Devam Janana Marana Dukkha Cheda Daksham Namami Chitram Vatataror Mule Vriddha Sishya Guru Viva Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam Sishyastu Chinna Samshaya Nidhaye Sarva Vidhyanam Vishaje Bhavarogina Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddhagyanaikamuttaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. By the Chin Mudra, he teaches me. Chin Mudraya, he teaches me. Please see the Ashtakam proper. Vishwam Darpana Dishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahirigo Bhutai Yatha Nidraya Yasaksha Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanameva Dvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantarivang Kuru Jagadidam Prang Nirvikalpam Punaha Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana Vaichitra Chitri Kritam Maya Viva Vijrumbayat Yapi Mahayogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Yasyaiva Sfuranam Sadatmakam Asat Kalpartakam Bhasate Sakshat Tattvamasiti Veda Vachasayo Bodhayatya Shrita Yes Sakshat Karanat Bhavenna Punaravrittir Bhavam Bhaunidhau Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Nana Chitra Gadodara Stita Mahadipa Prabha Bhasaram Jnanam Yasyatu Chakshuradi Karnadvara Vahispandate Janamiti Tameva Bhantam Anubhate Tat Samastam Jagat Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. This body is compared to a Nana Chidra Ghata, a pot with various holes, and there is a Jnana Pradipa inside, and through these holes the Jnana shines, the Jnana given by the Guru. That is the Drishtanta. Deham pranam apindriyan yapichalan buddhim cha shunyam viduhu Strivalan dhajadopamastvamitidrantha vrishambadina Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Mahavyamoha Samharine Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Rahu Grasta Divakarendu Sadusho Maya Samachhadanat Sanmatra Karanopasamharnato Yo Bhut Subshushta Puman Pragaswap Samiti Prabodha Samaye Yah Pratyabhigyayate Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Just as the brilliance of the sun and moon are covered by eclipse Rahu, my own Atma Ananda Swarupa is covered by the ignorance which is likened to Rahu's covering, and Guru's teaching frees me from this ignorance. Balyadishvapi jagridadishu tatha sarvasvavasthasvapi vyavrittasvanuvartamanam ahamityanta sfurantam sada svatmanam prakati karoti bhajatam yo mudraya bhadraya tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. But this Chin Mudra, he has revealed my Swa Atma Swarupa to me. Dakshinamurti, my Guru. Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya Swaswami Sampandataha Sishyacharya Tathaiva Pitruputradhyatmana Vedataha स्वप्ने जागृति वा येष पुरुषो माया परिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये भूरम्भांस्य नलो नीलोम्बरम् अहरनाथो हिमांशुः पुमान् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकम् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदं यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् नान्यत् किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशतां यस्मात् परस्मात् विभोः तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यस्मादमुष्मिन् स्तवे तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् ध्यानात् च संकीर्तनात् सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूति सहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सिद्ध्ये तत्पुनरष्टधा परिणतं च ऐश्वर्यमव्याहतम्. We will do Gita Dhyanam, and after doing Gita Dhyanam, we will go into chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita. So, this Gita Dhyanam is composed by a scholar called Madhusudana Saraswati. He gives you the basic teaching, what is stated there. Parthaya pratibodhitam bhagavata narayanena swayam vyasena gratitam puranam nina madhe mahabharatam advaitamritavarshinim bhagavatim ashtadashadhyayinim ambatvamanusandadhami bhagavad gite bhavadveshini namostute vyasa vishala buddhe ullaravindayata patra netra yena tvaya bharata taila purnaha प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पल शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तककेशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जन षट्पतैरहरः वेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारत पंकजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्र मरुतः स्तुवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थित तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अथ चतुर्थोऽध्यायः ज्ञान कर्म संन्यास योगः। The name of the chapter is Jnana Karma Sannyasa. 42 verses, and today I will give you the summary of this chapter, lead you to chapter 4 from to 4, give you the summary of chapter 4, and then introduce you to chapter 5. It is the Bhagavad Gita is your and mine fundamental problem. It's a fundamental problem. I see myself as an insignificant person. This insignificant person is not an imagination. It is based on certain observation. When I look at myself and look at the world, it's huge. When you look at the world, global, in terms of the solar system, We are a speck somewhere. Look at the solar system from the galaxy point of view. Nowhere there. Milky Way has got so many systems. Look at me. If I look at Milky Way from the cosmic angle, Milky Way is another tiny speck. So that I am an insignificant person is a well assimilated fact. It is not something imagined. It's not my problem that you don't have. All of us have that problem. Everybody else. It's a universal problem. It's not a Hindu's problem. It is not that in Hindu you are insignificant, rest of the world people are fine. From Eskimo land to Antarctica, everybody feels insignificant. And this insignificance is based on certain facts. Body-wise, I am limited. I am wanting. I wish I had a stronger body. Emotion-wise, I am wanting. I wish I had better control over my emotions. Buddhi-wise, I am wanting. I wish I knew so many things which others. Money-wise, I am always wanting. At no point of time, I am well off. Then in terms of relationships, I am wanting. I am not able to maintain the same kind of relationships with everybody. Few people like me. There are so many people who don't like me. For one person who likes me, there are 100 who don't like me. I wish everybody liked me. Wanting in terms of, I wish I had more rewards. I wish I had more awards. I wish I could sing better. Okay, I wish I could act better. Some people say you're a very consummate actor. I wish I could act better. So many things, I constantly, I wish I had a better set of parents. I wish I was born in, let's say, 10 years earlier, so that I could have been part of independence movement. Maybe another 30, 40 years earlier, I would have hung myself with Bhagavad Singh. So many things, you're constantly wanting. So, logically, I can never be happy because there are so many things to fulfill and I have not been able to fulfill any of them. Maybe a few of them here and there. I can logically never be happy. But my experience is, in spite of all this, I find myself happy. Looking back, I've had a lot of happy moments. There were so many rejections, but yet I find myself a happy fellow. This is a fact to be reckoned with. This is some fact. This is a significant discovery I have to reckon with. And this significant discovery does not come on my own. For this, I take recourse to Shruti, Veda. Shruti by itself doesn't tell me anything. Shruti as operated, employed by a guru, comes and tells me, the guru comes and tells me. They say in Kabir Dasna, Lochana Ananta Ugadia. He opened my eyes to a significant fact. The guru comes and tells me, you are not the insignificant person that you have assumed yourself to be, but you are a significant being. He said, you are not just a significant being, you are the significant being. Wow, Ascharya. He says, you are the only significant being. Tat tvam asi. I said, kya baat hai bhai? What a fantastic revelation. You tell me, I have taken myself to be an insignificant being, and you come and reveal to me, you are the only significant being. My God. Then what do I have to become that significant being? He said, you can never become that significant. Because if you become, you can unbecome. You are that significant. The problem is you are missing your significance. These small encounters, this limited body, the limited emotions, the limited wealth, the limited power that you have masked your brilliance. This is called ignorance, ajnana. It's an ajnana. I've told this story several times to you. There was a young prince whose father was a king, and because of conspiracy, the father was killed, assassinated, and the younger brother took over. A nurse smuggled this child out. And after a few years, they discovered this child. Now tell me, what has he got to do to become the prince? He is already a prince. He just have to own up the prince status. Hitherto he was living on trees and eating bugs and plants with hands, not washing himself. He has to come to the palace and live like a prince. That's what the Gita comes and tells you. He says, you are the significant person, not a person, being. This significant being has mistaken himself to be an insignificant person. The being has mistaken himself to be a person. It's a process of rediscovery, owning up, and living that life. That is moksha, and that moksha is available to you here and now. You just have to have a paradigm shift. And when will this paradigm shift happen? Somewhere in life, sometime in life. In Hindi they say, na, हमें एक झटका सा लगता है. At that point of time, we ask the right questions. We don't ask the question, why me? We ask the question, so what? What next? As long as you ask the question, why me? No answers are available. The moment you ask the question, so what? What next? When Arjuna asked this question, Krishna smiled. Prahasanniva Bharata. He is confused and the teacher is smiling. Very often, now there are teachers here. When the student asks you a wonderful question, the question you have been waiting for, student is looking all confused, the teacher will smile. But the teacher knows he has come, track pe aa gaya. So he says, Arjuna says, Karpanya dosha pahatasva bhavaha prachamitvam dharma sammuda cheta. Oh Krishna, I know what to do. But is that what I should do? Because I am able to see that if that is what I do, I will not be happy. If I don't do that, I will still not be happy. If I get all the lokas, I am the son of Indra. If I get the Swarga Loka, I am married to Ulupi, the Nagaloka queen. Nagaloka I can get. Even if I get all the accomplishments, I will continue to be an insignificant being. So when he says, therefore, prachamitvam dharma sammuda chetaha shishyaste aham. I am your shishya. Shadhi mam tvam prapanam. I surrender to you. Teach me. This is called Atma-Vichar. Once you ask this question, the Guru is thrilled. Bhagwan is thrilled. Shruti is thrilled. They say, at least one fellow has come. Who was asking this question. And this one person can transform this whole world. So Arjuna's background, he had to fight a war in which his own relatives are facing him. He knows to win this war, he has to kill his dear grandfather, he has to kill his teacher. And he says, I can't do it. I don't want blood-stained hands. I don't want this kind of victory. Krishna says, you are a Kshatriya, a prince, an accomplished guy. If you run away from the battlefield, okay, using a Hindi word, log tum par thukenge. They'll say, what kind of a Kshatriya? It's akirtikaram. Kya bakte ho bhai? It's a beautiful word. It's Klaibhyam mas magamaf artha. Klaibya means eunuch. He says, क्या हिजरा जैसे बात कर रहे हो? You are a Kshatriya, man. Go out there and fight. He says, if I kill my grandfather, dosha will accrue. If I kill my all these relatives, Varna Sankara will happen. All this will happen. Takes us to a very important fact. Two things which bug us, all of us, which makes us feel very insignificant. One, I have no problem about doing pleasant actions, but I have problems about doing unpleasant actions. I have problems about doing actions whose outcomes are unpleasant. The teacher comes and tells you, be alive to the realities. You have to do action. You have no choice over the results. Karmaniye vadikaraste doesn't mean you have do not expect results. It quite simply means adhikara means control. You have control over karma. Ma phaleshu kadachana, never over the results. Results come to you, outcomes come to you through other sources. First reality, face karo. What is the reality? Obviously, nobody wants to fight one dear's grandfather, one person's dear grandfather and teachers. But what if the teachers are and the grandfather is aligned with adharma? A few years ago, 5 years ago, let's say 60, 70 years ago, 75 years ago, the division, there was a border division. West Punjab was divided into two and a war broke out. One brother was fighting for the Indian army, the other brother was fighting for the Pakistan. One of them had to kill. He said, "Hum kaise ladenge? Yaar, tum army mein to ladna padega. There's no choice. If you don't fight, you will be court-martialed." So when he is representing adharma, you have to fight him. There is no choice. So having explained this, the teacher comes and tells him, please understand another reality. So what you are fighting in things like that is called a Vyavahara Satya, a practical transactional reality. Vyavahara Satya, I don't have an English word, I have to use this word. A transactional reality. What is a transactional reality? Suppose I am a judge and I have to pass a decision on the person on that witness point on the box, the accused person, even if he is the closest relative, Vyavahara Satya, I have to rule what is get to be done. I have to punish him. I can't say, no, son, I can't punish or something like that. What has got to be done? It's a Vyavahara Satya. For the sake of transaction, I have to do it. That is Vyavahara Satya. The teacher gives you a very unique jnanam here, knowledge. He says, please understand, he takes you through a process of learning. The teacher says, you are, for instance, this is an object of your knowledge. Okay. So this is an object, you are the subject. Knower, known. Drik, drishya. Eyes, lochanam, drik. This is drishya. So you are knower here. So you know the world. So you, the knower of the world, are different from the world. No problem there. Bring it closer. Do you know your body? Of course I know. I know how old I am, how young I am, what gender, what complexion. That means the body is an object of your knowledge, not you, the subject. Your body, it is uniquely expressed in our Indian languages alone. You go to a doctor and you never go and say, "Main theek nahi hu." You will go and say, "Meri tabiyat theek nahi hai." Even in our usage, we go and say, "My body is not okay." You don't say, "I am not okay." I am not okay. Some other country, you go and say, you go to a doctor and say, "Main theek nahi hu." He will say, "Bed number 10, Madras 10 is waiting for you." Pagal khane mein jaake band karwa. So even in our language, any language, in Bengali we say, "Shorir kharab." Tabiyat theek nahi hai. Tamil will say, "Odumbu seriyilla." So it's built into our system that I am different from the body. The only thing, I know my body intimately. I know my body intimately. I know my emotions intimately. I know my knowledge intimately. I know my physiological functions intimately. I am the knower. And what is the nature of the knower? The nature of the knower is Ananda Swarupa. Struggle free, Shoka Moha free is my Swarupa. But when reflected through this body, mind, sense complex, I see myself as a limited person. It is a reflection. The sunlight falls on a bucket of water, reflected on the wall, shakes, and I say, oh, sunlight is shaking. The Atma Swarupa reflected through this body is like that. Small, limited. I look at this smallness and have identified myself with this smallness. This body, mind, sense complex called Ahankara, Jiva, has to play roles, no choice. Each role has a script. Father has a script. Husband has a script. This script is unique. Some parts come already filled, and when I fill up some parts, some more parts get filled up. Like a form I fill up. Name, gender, tick karte hi, some columns get filled up. Married, I tick, some more things get filled up. So partly defaulted, partly I have to write. This is a dynamic script, and the script is given to me by Ishvara. And the roles that I play will have plot. Up, down will be there. Up, down will be there in all the roles. Outcomes will be Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha will be there. They're all part of the roles. If the role player, Aham, gets enmeshed in the role, then the problems of the role become the role player's problems. Viveka is cognitive distance, that the problems of the role do not touch me, the role player. I am playing the role of Bhagat Singh. They have to put me in gallows. I go on the gallows, kissing the nose. And after the play come out, and all of you will come and say, Hari, aapne kitna acha mara. And I'll be happy dying many more times. Because I know very well the problems of Bhagat Singh are not my problems. I am cognitively free from the struggle of the role. This is Atma Vidya. That's what Krishna gives in chapter 2. And for getting this knowledge, it is sukshma. It is very subtle. For getting this sukshma vidya, I should have preparedness. Jnana requires jnana yogyata. Chapter 3 is jnana yogyata prapti sadhana. Okay, what is jnana yogyata prapti? You have no choice over performing actions. Arjuna wanted to run away. He said, how can I kill? Chodo yaram. Krishna says, no way you can run away. You have to fight. There is no choice. You should have fought. You should have run away when you were in exile, not from the battlefield. You can't come to the battlefield and say, I won't fight. You were in exile for some time. You would have said, no, I am happy here. I would have settled down. I will settle down in Udupi or Pabru or Chitrangada or somebody, Assam, Meghalaya, he could have settled. He didn't know. He said, you came all the way itching for a fight. You went to Shiva and you got a Pashupatastra. You went to that fellow for alliance. And now you say, I won't fight it. Javad. Are you playing politics or are you playing fooling around? You have to fight, no choice. But what is the spirit? You and I have to fight. Fight, and that's why the Bhagavad Gita is given in a battlefield. not in the drawing room. It's given in the battlefield, because life is a struggle. We have to fight for our daily lives. And the teacher comes and tells us, you have to play roles, no choice. How do I see that the role problems do not touch me? The knowledge that you are only a role player, is it samajh mein nahi aata? Okay, till such time, get jnana yogyata prapti. How do I get you jnana yogyata prapti? Do your karma in a spirit of karma yoga. What is this karma yoga? Karma is proper action. Yoga is proper attitude. Perform what you are required to do. Niyatam karma kuru. With yoga, with the spirit of yoga. Spirit of yoga is proper attitude. What is the spirit of yoga? Just two. I-A-B, I-P-B. Ishvara arpana buddhi, Ishvara prasada buddhi. Like, 2-3 days ago, we all went to Tirupati. We got a few laddus. Very, very tasty. You should have those Tirupati laddus. And of course, the cashew content has come down now. Now they put more elaichi and things like that. That laddus, you have to stand in the queue, and very, very temples, fragrant laddus. And you keep here, it doesn't go bad also. And what we do, it's so tasty that you can even eat a whole laddu yourself. But no, we make it into thousands of small parts. Newspaper wala, doodh wala, fellow who comes to clean my car, the fellow who comes to clean my house, anybody who comes inside is given a piece of laddu. Ishvara prasada. There was an Indian who went into one of these foreign countries. He was carrying a laddu. He said, what is that? He said, prasada. Is it an eatable? He said, no, it is prasada. The fellow puts it in his mouth. He said, it is sweet. He said, yes. Is it an eatable? No, prasada. The prasada buddhi changes your concept. You do something, you get good results. Ishvara. See, this India is the only country where we have children's name. In Bengal, Ishwar Chandan, there's a prasada in the name. They have plain names like Bhagavad Prasad, there's a name. Shiv Prasad. And the child itself is considered a prasada by some people. Some people consider the prasada so prasada that they have 20 children. That's another thing. Prasad Bhagavan deta hai. And prasada by ma, your prasada keeps coming like Tirupati laddus. That's another problem. But prasada. A fellow will be severely diabetic. You give him laddu, he will take Ishvara prasad. And all your actions are Ishvara arpana. You perform karma with this attitude. Ishvara arpana buddhi, Ishvara prasada buddhi. The moment I say Ishvara arpana buddhi, my actions have to be dedicatable. I can't do any action. Hey, will you offer a rotten fruit to Ishvara as a puja? You are having a plate full of flowers. If one is rotten, you will keep it aside. There's one fruit in which there's a small dog. You will say, no, I cannot offer this as nevedya. Put it aside. Milk has gone bad. Why don't you do nevedya of that? In Bengal, they do puja. Rasgulla is offered. Suppose the Rasgulla has gone sour. Will you offer it to Devi? In that spirit, will you do any action which cannot be offered? Comes to the beautiful aspect of our action. I, as an individual, pursue artha. Artha is security. Kama is pleasure. Artha kama is pursued under the alignment of dharma, what is proper and what is appropriate. So artha kama, Ishvara has given us powers. Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti. Ichha is a privilege. You can desire for anything in the world. Mahalakshmi, you can desire for anything in the world. But that Shakti has to be aligned to Dharma. Then there is no conflict. So when I live a life of Karma Yoga, I live a life relatively free from conflict. This knowledge is given to Arjuna, and then Krishna comes to the first line again. Therefore, Arjuna, go and fight. Krishna, Arjuna says, "Ye kya baat hai? You tell me I have to know that I am a role player. The problem is that of the role. All these problems, I don't have to do anything to be happy. And then you're asking me to go play that Ghora Karma." In chapter 3, he says, Vyamishreneva Vakhyena Buddhim Mohayasiva me Tad Ekam Vada Nischitya. You are confusing me. On the one side, you are appreciating that you don't have to do anything. On the other side, you are saying, Ghora Karma, you go kill your grandfather. Kya baat hai? You're blowing hot and cold at the same time. He explains Karma Yoga. After listening to Karma Yoga, Arjuna has one more confusion. He comes from a tradition. I don't like to use the word Hindu. I use the word Vedic culture. In the Vedic culture, we have seen a lifestyle called sannyasa. The person wears ochre robes. Ochre robes don't make a sannyasi. He doesn't own anything. He goes walking all around the country. Everybody receives him with respect. He does not seem to have any responsibility. No commitment, nothing at all. Looking at that, Krishna feels what a free person. Like it happens. For example, some people live in Bombay, some people live in Bangalore, all traffic, Kolkata, all traffic prone areas. You are driving. The whole 20 cars are standing in a queue, they are not able to move. You know why? There is a buffalo standing in the middle of the road in the rain. The fellow driving a Mercedes-Benz car will say, "Buffalo, what a lucky character, standing on the middle of red road in rain without any problem in the world." He wants to be a buffalo. The Mercedes-Benz owner, living in the posh areas. This is the problem with us. Born as a prince, then he finds that the responsibilities are too much. He said, "Why can't I go become a sannyasi, go do some work like that?" Not having any responsibility. Krishna explains that, hey, physical sannyasa without mental sannyasa will only give you problems. That's why we come to chapter 4, Jnana Karma Sannyasa. Okay, in chapter 3, he said there are two lifestyles. One lifestyle is that of a sannyasi, the other lifestyle is that of a grahasti. For you, grahasti lifestyle is better. Knowing you, knowing your type of pursuits, knowing your type of hobbies. Personal experience. I went to my Guruji, I said, "Is sannyasa?" He said, "Sannyasa is not suitable for you. तुम senior student में गाना गाते हो, बात करते हो, you sing karaoke, you play games. Sannyasi lifestyle is not suitable for you. You become a grahasti and live there. But continue learning like that." It's Arjuna, you have 4 wives, so many children, you are ruling a land, you are a handsome fellow, an archer. He is called Sabyasachi. Arjuna was called Sabyasachi. He could fight with both hands, left hand batting, right hand batting, left hand bowling, right hand bowling. Sabyasachi. He was a swordsman, a wrestler, a gadadhari, dancer, singer. He took the Vesha of Brahmanalla and taught dancing. He could play the veena. Such an accomplished person, if he becomes a sannyasi, what will happen to, forget others, what will happen to Arjuna himself? He will sit at home and cry, "I wish I had played." He will go to a kachya, he will go to a musical performance. He will say, "Inko bajana hi nahi aata yaar, I could have played better. Inko gana nahi aata, I would have sung better." He says, you will be in Vesha, sannyasi, but inside you will not be a sannyasi. Such a person is called a mithyachari, hypocrite. So Krishna says, "Hey, this is not for you. You have to understand the nature of sannyasa," and brings you to chapter 4. So in chapter 4, Krishna has three major subject coverage. So first half an hour I covered the first three chapters, which I'll be doing it very often. Okay, then we cover chapter 4. I'll quickly look at chapter 4. Not quickly, we look at it well. There are three major portions of chapter 4. It is called Jnana Karma Sannyasa, unique usage. Okay, it is a unique, the samasa is a very unique usage. Jnana Karma Sannyasa, renouncing action by understanding the nature of action. So you are an army person and you are firing. Karma sannyasa is, I will not fire. Jnana karma sannyasa is, as a soldier defending the borders of the country, I have to fire and kill enemies if necessary. You have given up the personal doership involved in that action. Jnana karma sannyasa. I do what is required to be done. But the soldier cannot come outside and fire. He knows that very well. In the war field, in times of war, he does that. Jnana karma sannyasa. I have to pass a judgment. Playing the role requires something to be done. I, the role player, are free from the consequences, the guilt that arises. I am free from that. I am free from the problems imposed by the role on me. So here he says, Krishna says, Arjun says, I will not fight. I will go away to a life of sannyasa. Krishna says that sannyasa lifestyle is not suitable for you. Because for you to understand that you are a role player and not the role, you need jnana. It's a subtle knowledge that you are Ananta Swarupa, Ananda Swarupa, Chidananda Rupa, Purna Swarupa. All this is a matter of knowledge. And for this knowledge to work, you should have Jnana Yogyata. And Jnana Yogyata comes from Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga is possible in Grahasthashrama. You have to take care of the family. You have to take care of the children. You have to take care of society. There are five important contributions you have to make as a Grahastha. They are called Pancha Mahayagya. As a Grahastha, as a Karma Yogi, we are all supposed to do that. What are the Pancha Mahayagya? Number one, there is a family infrastructure. You have to take care of the family. That's why in India, we don't send our parents to old people's house. We take care. Family infra. We take care of the children. Not only my children, if my brother's children are affected, if my sister's children are affected, I take care of the extended family as well. Family infrastructure. India is the only country, perhaps, I don't know about other countries. India has a lovely joint family system. Unfortunately, the need is there, but we have wound up the infrastructure. So we have a family infrastructure. We have a social infrastructure. I have a social responsibility. Then I have a twofold responsibility towards other life forms, plants, animals, other life forms. There is called a natural other form infrastructure. And the fourth infrastructure is nature. Hawa, water, all this is an infrastructure towards which I have a responsibility. And the fifth responsibility is called Rishi Yagya, is a responsibility towards my Vedic culture. This is called Pancha Mahayagya. Karma Yoga has Pancha Mahayagya. Add to that, Danam, charity. Charity is not just giving money. Helping anyone in need is Danam. You give free knowledge. You tell somebody you are a significant being. That is great thing you are doing. A fellow has taken that I am a nobody. You tell him, who told you you are a nobody? You are a significant being. You have done a great job. Danam. Then you have tapa. Tapas is pushing yourself a little bit to do physical discipline, mental discipline, intellectual discipline. These 9 are considered niyatam karma, which gives you jnana yogyata prapti. It is possible in grahastha-ashrama. What about sannyasa ashrama? You do not have such elaborate thing. You have to do all this in a small way. You still have to continue. See, a sadhu, as a person who says, I am a sadhu, but he is worried about whether his clothes are dry. Okay, he has 2 pairs of, that dhoti, orange dhoti, and one upper cloth. Yesterday night, one dhoti got wet. Today morning, he's worried about whether the dhoti will dry in the morning or not. He is not a sannyasi because his anxiety already there, full of anxiety. Hey, who will pay for my ticket for traveling from Bombay to Rishikesh? You are not a sannyasi. Every day I've been having, like they say in Rishikesh, they serve dal roti in the morning, roti dal in the evening. Then will they serve jalebi? You are no longer a sannyasi. Sannyasa lifestyle is tough. Okay, it's a very elaborate lifestyle. The way in our Vedic culture, you are introduced into a Vedic culture by Upanayana. And to give up the Upanayana, you have to go through an elaborate ritual to remove that Upavita and you become a sannyasa. You give up your name, your possession. I know my Swamiji who used to play excellent mridanga. He gave it up. You can't become a Swami, a sadhu and start selling chavanprash and tantrikantis and things like that. Then you may as well be you may be a grahastha. So he says, and please don't mistake this lifestyle to be a sannyasa. Sanya is jnana. It comes out of knowledge. And that is explained in chapter 4. First, the teacher Krishna glorifies the knowledge. Okay, there are 2 types of knowledge and many types of knowledges. When it comes to spirituality, there is a lot of belief system. That on my death, I will go to Goloka Vrindavan. There I will swing with Radha and Krishna, have a lot of Navanita, but I will not get cholesterol or it is a belief. Non-verifiable belief. The only thing is, among us Hindus, we have very many tourist places to go. Aapko Golok Vrindavan jana hai, go. Aapko Kailash jana hai, go. But it will be very cold there. Krishna, Shiva will have only, you can't wear your muffler, duster and all those things. You want to go to Vaikunta, you can go to Vaikunta. No, he will be, he will be in that Sheer Sagar and everybody will be singing bhajans and prayers. So we have a lot of tourist spots to go. Other faiths stop there. They say that is the ultimate. One faith says, you will be living in an oasis, have dates. And some 72 virgins will serve you. Another fellow says, you come to me, you will have bread, wine and have supper with the Lord. Another fellow says, God will be pleased with you and you look at him, he will keep looking at you. This is a belief. Pure belief. You are free to believe what you believe in. I am free to believe what I believe in. As long as I am willing to have the intellectual honesty that it is purely a belief, which I can't push anybody down anybody's throat. The Vedic culture comes and adds one more. It says, question your belief. Guts chahiye, jigar chahiye. And for that, you should know how to do vichar. Just like that. You can't dismiss. No, I don't believe in Krishna. You have no means to say that there is no Vaikunta. You have no means to say that we will not have bread and wine. You have no means. Therefore, we ask a question. Vichara. Your body is left behind. It's burnt, buried or thrown to the birds here. So what goes to Swargaloka or any other loka? What goes? Question. And if something goes there, Will it be different from the thinking mind you have now? For example, somebody attends, my lecture about 78 talks I've given. So yesterday somebody called me, he said, 78, I wish I had attended from talk number 1. So even going to Vaikuntha, you will have the same thought there. Sitting in Mahavishnu's presence, you will be wondering, Arey, my Devi should have come along with me. I should have brought my children. At least I should have brought my mobile phone so that I can take a selfie with Mahavishnu. The buddhi will go there, no? So vichar karo. Please inquire. So the knowledge is glorified. He says this is not some belief system. This is knowledge. And knowledge, who gave you this knowledge? Is a certain universal realities are revealed to the rishis. Nobody gives them the knowledge. That's why they are called rishis. Arsha. Arsha is adjective. It means they are able to, like for example, Newton is a rishi. Gravitation force did not start with Newton. It was always there. He discovered. In the same way, how I should live my life, that I am Ananda Swarupa has been there right from the time the Srishti was there. I have to discover. Some rishis have discovered. And in my culture, I have said Sadashiva Samarambham. It has come from Ishvara himself. I am glorifying that. Then Krishna says here, Krishna is a very, a teacher who constantly makes you think. So Krishna tells Arjuna, I gave this knowledge to Surya. Then Surya gave it to Manu. Arjuna is confused. He says, you're 3 months older to me. You say you gave this knowledge to Surya? Kya baat hai? You think I was born yesterday? Genuine question. You look at chapter 4, he'll ask the question. Krishna, you are my contemporary. How do I take it that you gave this knowledge to Surya? It is like I coming and telling you, I taught Don Bradman how to bat. You say, kya baat hai yaar? You don't even know how to hold a bat. You are teaching how to Don Bradman to bat. He says, kya baat karte? Krishna smiles and says, let me explain Avatara Rahasya to you. What is Avatara? Avatara is not Janma. Yours and mine is called Janma. Janma means it is coming out of a karma. Avatara is the total cosmic intelligence expressing itself in a particular phenomena. The Vedic culture is able to see, you should see, when in the Bay of Bengal, then, the cyclone strikes. Oh my God, it's ferocious. You know something? The cyclone doesn't touch Bengal. You know why? We have invoked the cyclone in the form of Ma Kali. Terrifying Rupa. It is a natural phenomena. The Vedic Buddhi is able to invoke it is in a form. I should admire this Buddhi and not say idol worship and all these things. And I represent this phenomena in a in a small vastu, and I call it a deity. I call it Kali Ma. That is not Kali Ma. I see Kali Ma there. In a bimba, I see Mahavir, I see Mahaganapati. That's a spirit. So Avatara Rahasya has to be understood. Krishna says, if you understand the Avatara Rahasya, you are free, means moksha. There will be clearance here. There will be moksha. Avatara Rahasya has to be understood. Is how do you understand? The teacher gives you. It's all Vedic teaching. It says there are 3 forms of realities. There is something called absolute reality, Paramarthika Satya. There is something called Vyavahara reality, transactional empirical reality, Pratibhasika Satya, projected reality. Let me give you an example. I love this example. It's what this comes in very useful. Towel. Look closer. Is there another reality? Yes, thread. Look closer. Another reality? Cotton. Now, which is more real, cotton or towel? Cotton is absolute reality. This is Vyavahara, transactional reality. There is nothing called towel. There is only cotton. Cotton manifests itself as a towel. Okay? Aham. Consciousness ka cotton, if it were aham, it will come and say, I am this, but this is not me. Towel is an expression of cotton. In the same way, the whole Srishti that you see in front of you is an expression of that conscious being. So in this expression, it's very difficult to categorically tell how to give Krishna a date of birth. In which hospital was he born? Was he born by cesarean section or? ये सब काम नहीं चलता है. Ram Janmabhoomi is for me a sentiment, but to really look for Ram's birthplace is foolish. I cannot categorically say all this. This rahasya we should understand. I can see Krishna in the form I want. You can see Krishna in the form you want. You can see Murlidhar. Another fellow can see Giridhar. This is the beauty of the culture. So please understand this. That's what Krishna says. Avatara Rahasya. Then from the Avatara Rahasya, the teacher says there are 4 types of sadhakas. Chaturvida bhajante mam. There are 4 types of sadhaka. They are all called sadhaka. The original Sanskrit word is sad. Sad means something to accomplish. Sadhana is a means for accomplishment. Sadhya vastu, that which is to be accomplished. Sadhaka, you and my seekers. In India, we don't have believers. India is not a culture of belief. We don't do religious idol worship. We are seekers. When I see Krishna, I want to know who is that Krishna. I give Nevedya, I want to know, ye Navneet sach mein kahta hai ya kya karta hai? I would like to know. I am a seeker. Unless you understand this, Vedic culture will always remain something funny in our heads. We are seekers. Chaturvidha bhajante mam. Who are the bhajanta? Is Arti. Arti is a fellow who's constantly grumbling. Are mere paas ye nahi hai. Puri garib aadmi hai sir. Garib aadmi hai sir. Garib aadmi hai sir. That fellow is called Arti. So if you have girls in the house by the name Arati, please call her Arati. Don't say A-R-T-I. Arti is wrong spelling. Iska matlab hai rone wala. Arati, Arati, that is the name. I am offering Arati. I am glorifying. I am celebrating Ishvara. That is the word, not Arati, rone wala. Majpuri ka naam. So Arti. There is another fellow called Artharthi. Artharthi means iske paas ek ghar hai, he wants one more house. He has one car, he wants another car. Artharthi. The third type is a Jigyasu, you and I. We are partly Artharthis and partly Jigyasus. Especially after becoming senior citizens, we become Jigyasu. As long as you're not worried about your grandchildren. Okay. So, we are Jigyasu. Then the 4th category is a Jnani. He says, Chaturvita bhajante mam. And the only way to know me is through Shravana, Manana, Nidhidhyasana. Shravana is listening. Manana is reflecting, doubt clarification. Nidhidhyasana is in Dhyanam. I own up the whole knowledge. Dhyanam, meditation, is a means for preparing myself to own up this knowledge. Receive, comprehend, assimilate, and relate. This happens in Dhyanam. And Krishna introduces, Krishna doesn't give anything new. He says in Veda it is available, I would like you to know. So this is one preparatory sadhana. He gives you another preparatory sadhana. He says that is called Ashtanga Yoga. In Ashtanga Yoga, yama, niyama, do's and don'ts. Okay? Then asanam, proper posture. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pranavayu, the obvious vayu which shows that you are alive. There are pancha vayus: prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana vayus. By you don't even monitor, by just observing that, thank God you don't have to do anything about the prana vayu, it happens. Suppose we have to control it and you take 1 day leave, then what will happen? Like you forget to charge your phone, you will forget to charge yourself. So prana vayu, you breathe in, breathe out. You observe that vayu. See how the involuntary Ishvara functions. It is Ishvara functioning there. It is Ishvara's order functioning there. Prana vayu, obvious function. Apana vayu is evacuatory functions. You will not know as long as it is working normally. Only when it is not working, you will. Look at the way the order is established. Samana vayu, circulation, heart. Then you have Vyana vayu, digestion. Then you have Udana vayu. There is a clock ticking, your time is over, your time is getting over. Ta-ta, ta-ta, ta-ta. So pranayama, asanam, pranayama, pratyahara. There, pranayama done deliberately, pratyahara becomes more spontaneous. You readily go into it, the discipline. Then comes dhyanam. In dhyanam, there is a very elaborate, Patanjali Rishi has done amazing work on that. One particular is, they have very elaborately talked about the nadis in the system. You go looking for the nadi, no cat machine will show you. The Ida, Pingala, Sushumna nadis are all there. You have to appreciate the greatness of the Rishi who is able to visualize all this. Thin Sushumna nadi, and once the entire prana is connected to all three, this Sahasrara chakra opens, and from there you merge with the total cosmic being. That Krishna has highlighted. And he also says this is not meant for everybody. You don't try anything when you are alone. Don't try without teachers, because you may end up becoming a mad fellow at night, or end up having a headache. You should go to a teacher. And what should be the teacher? Guru. That's what is highlighted here, the role of a guru. Who's a guru? A guru is a Shrotriya who has studied himself and who knows how to teach. He's called a Shrotriya, one who is rooted in the Shastras. That's why he's called a Shrotriya. He's a Brahmanishta. He lives that life. He's an Acharya. He follows that life. Go to such a teacher. He says, Tat Vidhi, know this knowledge. Pranipatena, Pariprashnena, Sevaya. Go to the teacher like this. Keep your ego back at home. Pranipatena, pranam karo. Pariprashnena, ask him sensible questions. Sevaya, do seva to the Guru doesn't mean press his feet. Be with him, you will understand his body language. You will understand his silence. There will be some questions, he will say, let's go for a walk. You will understand what he means during the walk. He will look at you, you will understand. Didn't I tell you? He'll understand. So, pariprashnena sevaya. Okay? And then, what should be your personal qualification? Shraddhavan. Shraddhavan is not a belief, it's higher than belief. Belief is Vishwas. Shraddha is, I know for sure that the Vedanta Vakya, Guru Vakya will work for me. When the Guru comes and tells you, Tattvamasi, I don't have doubt. Are Guruji, how can I be Tattvamasi? I don't have all this. Shraddhavan. He must be an Atmaman, committed person, disciplined person. Yogi. I'm a disciplined, committed person. And the entire discipline is given the drishtanta of a yajna. Okay? How in a yajna, what do? You offer ghee, the best of ghee. The whole thing is following strict discipline. So the fire ritual is taken as an example. Just as you offer that, he says, you are, there are certain habits. And in nowhere in the Shastras they call anything as a bad habit. They only say power of raga dvesha, pressure of raga dvesha in your system. Okay? This raga dvesha is offered onto the fire of vairagya. They are not good for me. I will not go through them. See, every day, a lot of forwards come. There is one fellow who sees all the forwards, say, all these rubbish forwards are coming. I said, how do you know? Padta hai na? That's why you know. So when you know from this source rubbish forward comes, delete it or block kar do. There is one fellow who only sends me rubbish forward. So and that is taking 300 messages. You have read all 300. That's why you know. So offer your, these kind of habits into the fire of vairagya. Do dravya yajna, meaning start giving away things. If you look at the junk you are carrying, I don't know, after me, who will dispose of all this? The family will say, Kaya ko itna junk chhod ke gaya hai. So dravya, give away. Give away, not rubbish. Don't accumulate. The more you accumulate, the more get you attached to it. My grandfather's clock, what will you do with that? It doesn't run. And after you go, your grandson will throw it away. Kodi ke daam bik jayega. So don't cover junk. This junk also you empty. You have janma junk here. What you did to me, what you did to me, what you said to me. Us din I asked you for help. You said, who asked you to come here? You giggled at me. You laughed sardonically at me. All this rubbish. Clear it. Yajna, tapas. Push yourself for a physical discipline. Push yourself. This discipline is given to you. And he's told regularly study. That's what the teacher says. Okay. And then, what are the sadhana phala? What will you get? When you do all this jnana, what is the phalam you will get? He says it with guarantee. I give you 3 phalas. Moha nasha. You know what is moha? False values given. This is a glass of water. But suppose I take it as a great sense of security. This gives me security, false value attached. It destroys all false. It doesn't mean you become indifferent, okay? Somebody said money is useless. I said, if it is useless for you, I'll give you my bank account. Please transfer it. It is very useful. Mahalakshmi hai. But don't give it over importance. Don't give it under importance either. So moha nasha takes place. Then what? Papa nasha. See this. Papa is translated as sin. It is not sin. Sin is, we don't have sins. We don't have original, duplicate, replicate sin, anything at all in our culture. When you do something wrong, I won't even use the word wrong. Something inappropriate. Okay? You are not supposed to enter in the no entry. You have entered in the no entry. I'm giving you the simplest example. You will have 2 phalas, drishta phala, adrishta phala. Drishta phala is you will feel bad because all the cars are going on the opposite side. You are going on the only car going on the opposite side. You will look like and feel like a fool. It's called drishta phala. What is the adrishta phala? 3 days later, you will get a photograph saying that your car entered into a wrong and penalty. So when we do something inappropriate, there is a drishta phala in the form of pain, guilt, feeling sorry for oneself. Adrishta phala, some kind of outcome, pain later in life is called papam. So when you do this jnanam, papa nasha takes place. No such. When you won't do wrong, where is the question of papa? So It's a beautiful culture. Okay. So you have Mohanasha, you have Papanasha, and Sarva Karma Nasha. It's something unique. You are actively involved in everything, but you are untouched by the problems of all the actions in knowledge. You are playing a role, okay? You are playing. There was a movie in which you play 9 roles. There was an actor, Sanjeev Kumar played 9 roles. In one of the roles, he shot dead. In one, he has got a leprosy. In one role, he is a eunuch. Imagine you are watching the movie with him. You say, देखो कितना बढ़िया हमने युवक acting किया. None of the roles, actions touched him. He laughs with you and he gets an award also for that. So, Sarva Karma Phala. All the outcomes which drag you down, pull you down, prevent you from being the happy person you are destroyed. Conflicts are destroyed. Moha is destroyed. Shoka is destroyed. You get permanent Saukhya. Saukhya is Sukha Bhava. And this is available when? Here and now. Abhi. At the end of chapter 4. You don't have to wait till 18 chapters. It is available now. And this is called Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. This is how this chapter is titled. And Guru Kripa, how does it work? I have been reading the whole afternoon how to present it. I have notes here. I have this elaborate Bhagavad Gita book. I have this Bhagavad Gita chanting book. I have this notes book. I pad ke headache ho gaya. Then finally I washed, applied some vibhuti. I said Sada Shiva Samarambha. Guruji's picture is right in front. It flowed. That is called Guru Kripa in our lives. It is unique to India. It is unique to the Vedic culture where the Guru touches you and transforms you. Okay? Touches you and transforms you and helps you discover the happy being that you are. The happy being through this BMS plays the role of a human being. You are not a human being. You are a happy being, cosmic being. The reflection through this body, mind, sense complex makes you play the role of a human being. The role of a human being has responsibilities. There are scripts. You have to play them properly. Karma Yoga. And play them properly with the knowledge that I am playing a role. I will do what is appropriate. Is Jnana Karma Sannyasa. Very beautifully explained by the glory and the parampara of teachers we have had. So, with pranams to my Guruji, we will have the Shanti Mantra. Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalinim Deshu Yam Shobharahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhaved Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sadgurunath Maharaj ki jai ho, Swami Dayananda Maharaj ki jai ho, sab santon ki jai ho, Pavan Putra Hanuman ki jai ho, Bajrang Bali ki jai ho. If you have questions, you can mail it to me, rbi.mohan@gmail.com, so that we can answer it, or anytime you want to get, because during the class time, you're so involved that, but definitely there will be a lot of questions. It requires, my teacher used to say, systematic, regular study over a period of time. Sporadic study will not help. It has to be systematic. Thank you very much for being with me this evening. Om.